So I came across this article in the New York Times celebrating America's 250th birthday through the history of food. And I knew almost immediately that I wanted to talk to y'all about it. I saved it on my screen for days. Y'all know I'm a food lover and I love trying new restaurants and all kinds of recipes and collecting them. And so hearing the stories behind the meals we eat, but I really had no idea how many fascinating stories were tucked into this timeline. And I kept saying, oh, is that where that came from? I never knew that. It isn't really a history lesson. It's the story of America told through what we've eaten over the last 250 years. And it reminded me that every meal has a story. And depending on how or where or when you grew up, those stories can look completely different. So I thought it'd be fun to go through this timeline with each of our different lenses.
I think millennials have a funny relationship with food. We grew up with the height of convenience, Lunchables, frozen meals like Hot Pockets and pizza rolls, a multitude of snack foods, and yes, Cheetos, which I will enjoy and defend until the day that I die. I am incredibly thankful for refrigeration and freezers and the ability to have leftovers because I love leftovers. But we're also the generation that started questioning what was actually in our food. We watched conversations around ultra processed foods and ingredient labels and dieting and eventually body positivity all collide. Somewhere along the way, eating stopped being just eating. It became something that we analyzed and optimized and sometimes even felt guilty about. As I was reading through this timeline, I couldn't stop wondering what we've gained, but also what we've quietly given up. Like I said, refrigeration changed what we eat, but it also changed how we live. We don't have to gather and shop and preserve or even cook together the way that people once did. I don't think that I'd trade my leftovers, but I do wonder if all that convenience has made us a little more disconnected from both our food and from each other.
I may be a 30 something bachelor who lives mostly on steak and eggs, but I still love to get in the kitchen and try new recipes, techniques, and styles of cooking. So, reading through the evolution of cuisine in America was fascinating, but I, for one, am already hungry. So, I'm not going to wax poetic about the revolutionization of fast food by McDonald's speedy assembly line. I am ready to dig in. Welcome to Two Millennials and Mom.
I'm Callie.
I'm Cole.
And Mom, y'all are great eaters. We've talked about people who aren't, who are picky eaters. We've been exposed there. I think the two of you will eat almost anything, and you are both excellent cooks. I mean, you put me to shame, but I grew up
That's
around,
not true.
well, my mother
We
was
just cook
not a
different
good cook.
things.
Yeah, that's true. My mom was not a good cook. My grandmother was, but she was a very basic cook. I mean, they grew the majority of what they, ate. They canned and kept it all. And so I think we really have come up differently when it comes to food. So this was really kind of fun just to, click on and read it. I especially was tickled about the mac and cheese.
Yeah.
I think that just in general, though, I think that we have to look at how much evolution has taken place between the way Cole and I cook today versus your grandmother cooked however many years ago. And
Yeah.
so, I mean, Cole, when you go to the grocery store, we watched a video on YouTube about different types of mayonnaise the other day. 8 different ones, something like that. Like when we go to the grocery store, there is a multitude of options for everything. Your grandmother had 1, maybe.
Whatever
There were
she
two.
grew.
There were 2
Yeah.
mayonnaise. You could either have Miracle Whip or you could have mayonnaise. And most of that was homemade.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
Miracle Whip was a big deal because you didn't make it at home.
Okay,
So,
but you talk about her being a simple cook. That's because that's what she had access to. We're
yeah,
much more complex because that's what we have access to.
yeah.
We have global supply lines, access to every recipe that's ever been written by any human on the face of the planet, and an instructional video on how to do it just right.
Yeah.
At our fingertips.
I cannot imagine her even being on Instagram for recipes that would just be so foreign to her that she would, never ever be able to contemplate that. But I mean, it was kind of fun. So,
So we won't rehash the entire article, and we'll certainly link it in the show notes so that anybody can go and look because it is a fascinating read. It's an interactive article that it's really cool. But let's go through some of kind of the highlights. I think for me, where it really starts, remember, we're just talking about the last 250 years of quote unquote American food. And I think one of the things that is really important to note here is that is there really such thing as American food? I mean, like, America borrowed all of their concepts for food from anywhere else.
yeah,
Purely
Yeah.
American food doesn't exist.
I don't know that it's American food as much as it is food in America.
That's fair.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
fair.
I'd go with that. But I mean, if you look at the beginning and you talk about, pilgrims, which is where we kind of begin with ours, you're looking at things like Johnny cake and corn and,
And beans and squash.
oh, and beans and squash. And so you just look at that and look at where it comes from. And as you go on through the ages, you'll see those influences from other nations, other people, immigrants themselves. That's so very common today. I mean, you had sushi last night. I had Thai the day before. I mean, a friend sent me a Mediterranean that's a new place. I mean, my grandmother did not eat like that.
Remind me to get that from you after because I like Mediterranean a lot.
Oh, you're gonna like this. It's got really good ratings on it. It's a new place in town.
Sweet.
I
So
mean, but you've got things like like apple pie. It's one of the most American dishes, but that's German originally. Like that didn't come from here. I mean, hamburgers are German. Pizza is the number one takeout food in America and has been for decades. That came from Italy. I mean,
Originally, sure, but I mean, all food came from somewhere. So Italian food has inspiration from places outside of Italy, and Chinese food has inspiration from places outside of China. That doesn't make it not Chinese food. If you go to Pizza Hut, that's American food. It's not Italian.
I
I
don't
started to
disagree.
say, I don't think Italians put pineapple on their pizza.
Some of them might.
Okay, I thought this one was really funny about mac and cheese. That Jefferson took a enslaved man with him when he went to Paris. And that man, James Henning, studied French cooking while he was there. And when he comes back, he's cooking formally for Jefferson. And one of the things that he cooks is a macaroni pie, which was boiled noodles in milk, layered with cheese, and baked in a Dutch oven. I mean, that's pretty dang
Sounds an
close
awful lot like mac and cheese to
mac and
me.
cheese. Yeah. Yeah. So I thought that one was really interesting
Hmm.
where that one kind of came from.
Yeah. I mean, but they have that pegged at 17 in the 1780s, right? And so it's a pretty good ways away. And so, I mean, to think that it has as a dish become that much more popularized and part of the thread that is quote unquote American cuisine is kind of fascinating.
Yeah, it really is. I think the other thing was, and I just
Who do you
didn't,
think tried that first? Let's let's boil noodles in milk.
well, where
Somebody
did the
with a
noodles
great
come from?
idea.
I
Really,
mean, sure, but
where did the noodles come from though? I mean, I guess that's Italian pasta that you bring in. I mean, that would have been unique too.
Yeah,
I
French.
mean, yeah, we'll give those French. I thought the other interesting thing was because I just didn't think about this, and because I'm a wild collector of recipes, is that that's not how recipes really began. And Callie, you and I have been looking for a cookie dough recipe that Mama used to fix. And I thought I'd found it. It was in her writing. It was said thumbprint cookies. And then I started making it and I got so tickled because it said you need brown sugar and you need flour and vanilla. It didn't tell you how to mix it or what to do. It didn't tell you to roll it I mean, there were zero instructions on this. And the
You're supposed
last
to know
item
this is
was,
just a list of ingredients.
yeah, that's all it was. And punch your thumb in before you put it in the oven. I don't even think it told you what to cook them at, which, I
Didn't
mean,
matter for us, we just wanted the dough.
we just, true. But I just didn't think, but there were people that began to organize that, the joy of cooking I mean, I think every cook has probably heard of that book, but I didn't think about it being unique in that's the
Revolutionary for
first,
its
yeah,
time.
how it was put together and that it really began a whole genre of things. I mean, look at cooking shows today and all those kinds of things from how recipe books developed.
I think if we step back just a little bit before we get in too far to the timeline, I think we've got to be really cognizant of how, I mean, essentially r- preservation of food came about. And so
True.
in the early 1800s, we're talking the harvesting of ice. I mean, the shipping industry created this opportunity for ice to preserve food for longer, so you didn't just have what was available locally to you.
What you could grow or get from your neighbor.
Yeah, and so
Well,
or
you
your
didn't
local
have to
store.
salt down or
Mhm.
preserve in some way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it eventually paved the way for refrigeration to become as commonplace as it is today, and I just think that that's so fascinating because, again, Cole, it's like you said, who came up with that? Where did that start? We should probably go ahead and put this on ice and see how it goes. Do you wanna eat it real
Yeah,
quick? Let me know if you
who
die.
figured out that you could preserve things by keeping them cold?
Well,
Like, how
don't
do
you
you
think that Indians used to do that by putting stuff in the river?
Sure, but how did they learn that?
We should put
How
it
do
in
you
the
learn that,
river.
"Oh, if I keep it cold, it will preserve longer"?
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know.
and
I
then
don't know.
from there, you go into the 1820s where you're talking about canning, which is certainly making a resurgence today in today's day and age. I mean, but
Hopefully with a little bit less lead.
hopefully.
Well, and the funny part about that is you started in what, the 1810s with canning, but they didn't invent a can opener until 5 years later.
Yeah, how
They
do they open
literally
these cans?
with an
How about
axe
40 years later?
for, you're right.
1850s.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. That it had, yeah.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
so you literally had to beat the can open. But then that just takes me to my grandmother who literally taught, like, they weren't called home economics because she wasn't in school, but there was a ladies group, like almost like FFA, that she taught women in the 40s and 50s to can and how to do that, and had all of the paraphernalia, the big pots that you put all of it in and how to seal them and all this little prong things to dig them out of the hot water. I mean, and they did frozen and they did canned, and it you just, I mean, I grew up with that. I,
Mhm.
I hate cherries to this day because because of the canning that they used to do, because they had some really prolific cherry trees and I hate cherries. So, I mean, you just think about that progression.
Yeah. I think that one of the other big ones that kind of next in the stepping stone timeline here is Chinese restaurants.
Yeah.
You had all of these immigrants coming in, introducing flavors that were totally new and different to
And
here.
thank God for that.
Amen. A freaking men.
I mean, but that came about because of the gold rush. And you had Chinese immigrants coming, being used for labor, and they brought their food. They couldn't afford anything else. They
They
brought their
didn't
own
know.
stuff, and that just is how it. And then people begin eating it. And then there's a restaurant on the corner that opens up that's Chinese food.
And again, like, how do you think that came about? Do you think that you had a born and raised American and a Chinese immigrant who had neighbors or something? They lived near each other, and the one guy goes, "Man, that smells really good. Can I try it?" Tries it, finds out that turns out it's awesome. You should start a restaurant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, do
Or
we
was it
have that
just
one random guy who smelled his neighbor cooking food to thank for Chinese restaurants across America?
Yes, thank you.
or was it just a really smart entrepreneurial immigrant who
Yeah,
said, "Hey, I mean, we're already got
I
it
really like this
do
food. Maybe they will too.
yeah, we've already got that group of people doing laundry for us, and so this just seems to go right in. Drop your shirts off and have something to eat." I don't know.
Crazy.
I mean, but even that, we've gone to some nice restaurants. Because we all like to try new stuff. But there was a point that having a sit down dinner wasn't normal. That
Mhm.
didn't come about until, I mean, really, Delmonico's. And that came from a pastry shop. So we don't even think about that. We walk into any restaurant and sit down.
What is Delmonico's?
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
Oh, Delmonico's. I can't believe that. Y'all not ever watched Barbara Streisand and Hello Dolly? It's Delmonico's. It was a very fancy restaurant. Everybody knew Delmonico's, but it
And
came out of a
when
pastry
did
shop,
that come out?
1820s.
No,
The
the
movie.
reference that you just made,
Uh, Shut up.
30 years before I was born?
We need to go to see some old movies, Boo.
No, you can go. By all means, have fun. I hope you enjoy it. I'm good. I'll stick to my Michael Bay giant robots blowing stuff up.
Okay, okay.
1969, Cole.
Sorry, 26 years before I was born.
Yeah, exactly.
Did y'all read about the graham cracker?
I
I did. I thought
did.
that one was really interesting. He was a Presbyterian minister who thought that mass-produced foods, meat, and alcohol would overstimulate the body and cause it to corrupt you and make you a sexual deviant. So he created this very bland whole wheat cracker, which led to mass-produced foods that everybody knows and eats and you can buy on the shelf at the grocery store because they make a bazillion of them.
Graham crackers.
Well, and
Yeah.
also it made me laugh talking about the deviant inducing behavior, just specifically because A, I'm a graham cracker person, and B, I keep graham crackers in my nightstand just for whenever I get a hankering. I'm like, oh, I should grab those. They're
Okay.
delicious.
Not a huge graham cracker guy. Like, they're
I
fine,
love them.
but by themselves, definitely not.
I mean,
Ugh,
maybe once a year I want a graham cracker, and I do
I
not
don't
want them
think
with
it's that
marshmallow
often.
on them.
I don't want a marshmallow or chocolate or
But
anything. I just want the graham crackers.
but I mean, even at that, because of what he did, and then all of a sudden you've got, health food kicks and wellness movements and commercial
But
baking
also,
all of a sudden.
like, how drastically different do you think his crackers were from the graham crackers that we know?
Well, they didn't sound very good.
Mom, we should
Grandma,
see if we could find a recipe for the original graham crackers.
no.
Y'all enjoy.
Oh, I thought that was exciting.
No, no,
Never.
no, no, no.
So we're up to 200 years ago at this point, and then we get into department stores and grocery stores, which, in my personal opinion, was mind blowing. I thought it was so cool
What part?
Why?
What do you mean?
because it changed the way that your choices were made, as well as the way that you function within your society, within your immediate community. I thought was so fascinating because instead of going to a specialty shop, you're going to go to the butcher for meat, or you're going to have the milkman deliver milk to your door. I mean, like, whatever it may be, like, you had choice. You could look at a whole bunch of things all in one place. And
Yeah.
the original grocery stores, you didn't do the shopping.
Yeah.
You came
You
and
walked
brought
in
your
with a list
list.
and
Yeah. Said, "Hey, here's what I need," and somebody would go gather all of those items and bring them to you at the front of the store.
Yeah.
So we're
Yeah.
almost back to that now.
I mean, I feel like in so many ways, time is circular, right? So we're sitting
Uh,
here talking about all of these different things. I mean, macaroni and cheese or having everything be farm to table today. We don't want things that have been shipped in from across the country, frozen for 6 years. We want fresh from down the street. I mean,
And
everything,
we're
I
doing
don't think it's
curbside pickup,
and we're doing curbside pickup, which is
yeah, that's
exactly
what I
my
was thinking.
point because it's just all a circle,
They say history repeats itself, so
doesn't it?
so did you
Doesn't it?
get a kick out of the sliced bread story? That's where that came from, that saying came from?
I mean, yes.
So they invented a machine that would cut and wrap loaves in seconds, and sales jumped by 2,000% in 2 weeks.
which is
Hence?
crazy to me because, like, doesn't that make the bread probably not last as long? Like, yeah, you don't
Uh-huh.
have to cut it yourself, sure, but wouldn't it stay fresher longer unsliced?
Yes.
I would think,
Well, I mean,
depending on how fast you're eating it.
probably not, Cole, think about it, there's no preservatives. At this time, it's gonna go when it goes. It's not gonna last nearly as long as it does today.
Sure, but even then, just exposure to the environment around it to a greater extent would cause it to go bad faster.
Maybe,
It would cause it to go stale sooner.
maybe.
I I don't know. Maybe they're just eating it so fast it doesn't matter anymore.
I mean, maybe, yeah.
It's bread, who wouldn't?
I mean, and y'all don't remember this, but I remember my grandmother having a bread box that sat on the cabinet, and that's all that went in there was the bread. It went in there by itself. I don't know why.
Well, that's
I
the whole
assume it's to
thing.
preserve it better.
But is
I
it
mean, it didn't
really?
go in the fridge, though, it went into a bread box that sat on the
Sure,
counter.
because you don't want it to be in the fridge because the humidity is different in the fridge. It'll get soggy.
Mm, maybe
I think
that's
it
what it was.
dries it out, it pulls out all the moisture.
Oh, I don't know. Okay,
It's like a
Callie, do you wanna
humidor for your
talk about
cigars. Like, sure, you can leave them in a box, but they're not going to last as long.
Right.
you wanna talk about Cheetos and how they came to be?
Don't you tease
Yes,
me. I think that Cheetos being on this list in the first place were so fascinating, and it was kind of an aha moment for me. I was like, "Interesting." So Cheetos originally came about in World War II. They were used to
after World
feed.
War II, because of the surplus
Oh, yes.
of
Yeah.
dehydrated cheddar powder.
Yes. Yes, and so, I mean, just this mountain of cheddar powder that had to be used, and so, again, whoever thought, "You know what? We should take that cheddar powder, dehydrated cheddar powder, and let's go ahead and put it on puffs of fries and cornmeal." Eh,
Well, here's the
thank
thing.
you.
It's the guy who invented Fritos originally. So
Yeah.
he was already making these little corn chips, these corn paste fried chips, and now he had the brilliant idea. Because here's the thing, I really like cheddar, and I like Fritos pretty well. Putting the two together, probably not going to be a bad thing.
I
I
mean, but
repeat, thank you, sir.
I mean, you
Okay,
talk about this, and this is where orange juice concentrate came from because we're trying to
real
feed
quick
the military people.
before we move off Cheetos, I have a
Oh.
sidebar question for
We never
Callie.
are gonna move off of Cheetos.
For this conversation, I agree. We're on the same page. What's your favorite kind of Cheeto?
Regular, classic, original Cheetos.
Interesting. I'm a jalapeno cheddar guy. Jalapeno cheddar Cheetos go so hard.
And I'm not gonna turn those down, but nothing beats the original.
Oh no, they definitely do, in my opinion. I'm also a fan of Cheetos Puffs, but I have a question for you. Like, is there a secondary Cheeto that you like?
Probably Puffs, because here's
If
the
there was
thing.
another kind of Cheeto that could be invented, what would it be? Like, if you could
Okay.
have a new type of Cheeto, what kind of Cheeto would you want?
calorie-free ones.
How about bacon ranch?
No,
That's that
no.
would be pretty sick.
I
I
want
really want the jalapeno cheddar puffs. They
Okay,
would be
alright.
so fire.
And I'm not gonna turn those down, and I will lick every single bit of orange dust off of my fingers afterwards, every time, but I want the original. They are perfection.
They're
Are
good,
so
but,
funny.
like, they're 3rd on the list for me.
3rd?
Yeah,
Kids these days.
can't help having great taste, sorry.
I mean, but this
Okay,
really is the introduction of processed foods.
yeah, ultra-processed foods.
Yes,
I mean,
this is the
yeah,
start,
freeze-dried
yes.
potatoes or potato flakes and orange juice concentrate and cheese powder because it all went to feed the troops. And then when you had surplus later, you gotta figure out something to do with all of that.
I
No,
mean, but I think
yeah,
in so many ways, this kind of and it sounds so silly, especially given my love of Cheetos, but this specific era really truly reshaped how Americans eat and
yeah.
how Americans diet even. I
I
would love
think
to say
Well,
for decades, but still to this day, the influences and effects of that specific era are still very
mhm,
much felt,
yeah,
prevalent.
r right, and so all of that comes from really the industrialization of agriculture,
Ugh.
big ag coming about because you've now automated it or at least motorized so much of that industry.
mhm,
You also have America, who is sending a huge chunk of its labor force overseas. So you
We
have
need
to automate
hands.
that.
Mhm.
So you have less people growing. You're more efficient at growing, but you need better preservation. You need to be able to ship it. And you still have to feed the people that are still here. And not only that, the people that 10, 20 years before this were farmers, a lot of them have now moved into cities and are working in factories. So they don't have the opportunity to grow their own food the way their families did 20 years before them. So you have to have this ultra efficient mechanism.
yeah,
Yes, I don't disagree with any of that, but I think that that became a catalyst for what comes next in all of this. So you've
mhm,
got all of these people all throughout the world who are hustling to get stuff done, who are taking care of all of these other needs that need to be met, and then they come home and you're expecting them to go to the grocery store, or you're expecting them to go and make it a whole meal for their family of 2 adults and 2.5 children in their white picket fenced homes?
yeah,
Like, this is where frozen meals, TV dinners start
yeah,
really coming into play. We're hitting the workforce, we're busy, we need some efficiency here.
yeah. Women are
Enter
not
TV
staying at
dinners.
home as much.
Yeah,
They're out in the workforce. They're not canning and putting things away. They're not
they don't have that
getting
kinda
ready to cook.
time.
Yeah,
You've also got the explosion of fast food, someone else making your meals for you, which was
yeah. From all of
uncommon.
those immigrants from pizzas to bagels to sushi,
Hamburgers.
hamburgers, McDonald's. The one that got me about McDonald's was the calibrated gun to put
Yeah.
condiments on. I never knew that. Maybe they still do that. I never worked fast food, but a calibrated gun to put condiments on? That
So
was
you get
that
just the right amount mustard and just the right amount of ketchup.
Well, and it's a consistency thing. The McDonald's here versus the McDonald's over there, your
yeah,
experience doesn't change.
yeah.
And then you
That
think take it into consideration as the bottom line. We can't have too much mustard going out because then we have to pay for more mustard. Cole, it makes me think of
yeah, good
that
point.
your burger story at your bar place. They were making fresh patties.
God.
And she was making them too big,
Yeah. Instead of she's making 1 pound patties.
Yeah, instead of quarter pounds.
Yeah.
wondering why the,
Why
inventory
their
was
their
going so
meat
fast.
costs were going through the roof. Yeah.
But, I mean, you look at McDonald's and then you've got White Castle and, ultimately In-N-Out Burgers and Chick-fil-A and Kentucky
The
Fried
best thing that
Chicken
ever
and
happened to a chicken. I'm pretty convinced. I'm not a huge chicken guy. Like, don't get me wrong. I love me some fried chicken, but that's about the only way I really like enjoy eating it. But Chick-fil-A is up there. It's pretty dang it's fried, but
Your
I mean,
grandmother
it
would be
is.
so proud.
It is. But, I mean, even then, so you've got all of that influence from immigration, and then in the '60s, you get soul food.
Hallelujah.
I mean, we've had some great soul food. I mean, I
Excellent.
love collard greens, especially from the South.
Yeah. Yeah. Somebody recently asked me, they're like, "What is your favorite food?" I'm like, "The gray." And they're like, "Excuse me?" I'm like, "Oh, it's a restaurant in Savannah, Georgia." Like, "What? That's your favorite food?" "Yes. Yes, it is."
Yes. Yes. That was really good.
Because there's so much heart in it.
What were the little popsicles called?
Thrills.
Thrills. I mean, that's one of those restaurants I'd go back to again and again and again.
Oh, yeah. I need to try everything on the menu just in time
Yeah.
for it to change and then
Yeah.
start over.
Yeah.
I'm just so appreciative. I mean, like, this is where that amalgamation of all of these different trains of thought comes together. And I am just so incredibly grateful. Like you mentioned earlier, Thai food, adore, soul food, I'm in love. I mean, anything and everything. I just get so excited because I think that in so many ways, I say to people all of the time, feeding people is my love language because that is where you taste somebody's heart for you, the time
Mm,
that they've put into it, the thought that they've put into it. And I think that just having all of these different cultures come together to say, hey, here's what I know. What do you
yeah.
know? And sharing in that, I am in heaven,
Yeah.
thrilled.
You guys talked about farm to table, but then it went to things like lean cuisine
Hmm.
and getting those meals ready.
gotta be more efficient. So, yeah,
And
you can't eat out every day because it's too expensive. The economy is crap because this is in the '80s. It's right after the '70s, which w was tough economically. So
but that even spawned the Food Network. You go from there
sure.
and you've got Emerald and Bobby Flay, and all of a sudden people are
I know.
learning to cook at a different level than what your grandmother cooked at.
Because again, it's a different perspective on it.
Mhm.
Hey, I don't know how to cook this, but you do. Thanks for sharing that with me.
Yeah.
And you've got the reach with TV that you didn't really have before. I mean, even thinking back, like it mentions it in here previously, but Julia Child on cooking shows, like that was a huge deal.
Yeah.
Nobody talked about cooking.
Yeah.
It wasn't a business, it was a necessity. It wasn't
Yeah.
anything more than that. And then you've got the reach that you can achieve and accomplish and share via TV or recipes and therefore cookbooks. And again, a big chunk of recipes all in one place. You can
Yeah.
share family history and different points of view and, I mean, treasures.
Yeah. Cooking for two, cooking with chicken, Italian night every night. I mean,
The joy of cooking.
you can do any of that. I mean,
Yeah.
think of all the little books. Good Lord, I collected tons of them when you guys were growing up that were by the checkout counter that had some, 30-minute
30-minute
meals.
meals. Mhm.
Yeah.
So I wanna talk about that. We talk about in the '80s, you've got the explosion of frozen TV dinners because people don't have time to do their own thing, and they don't have the luxury to necessarily go out to eat all of the time.
Okay.
But then you have this kind of economic rebounding in the '90s. You don't necessarily wanna go out to eat as much, but you don't necessarily need the same efficiency as a frozen dinner. You've got the Food Network, you've got people coming back to learning how to cook again, which really kind of, I feel like, is probably what drove the urge in the 2000s, the organics craze. Oh,
Yeah.
well, we want less processed foods. We want
We want it
to
to
do it
taste like
ourselves. We want it
tomatoes.
to,
Yeah.
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 So now we need organics.
Yeah.
So
We
you've
Sure.
can't grow
got,
them ourselves, but you can grow them for us and make them special.
But do it right.
sure, I mean, we don't have time or the ability or space
Yeah.
to have our own farm. but
Yeah.
we want something that's clean. We don't
Yeah.
want poison sprayed all over it.
Yeah.
We want something that's good so that as we're learning, as we're utilizing these things that we learned from Emerald in the 90s and Jessica Child, that we want the
Julia.
highest quality ingredients. What?
Julia.
Julia.
Sorry. Again, before my time.
Rolling over in her grave.
But you want these high quality clean ingredients to put into these recipes that you've learned how to cook on TV.
Well,
Yeah.
and I think that this is a really good, clear example of kind of the opposite of what we were talking about in last week's episode with the cost of convenience. This is where society started pushing back on convenience. I'm willing to pay more for this because it is pure, because it is
Mhm.
clean, because it is
Better.
better.
Yeah, it's gonna taste better.
Yeah, and it made enough of a difference that people said, "I'm gonna forgo the convenience of it. I'm gonna pay for it. I'm gonna pay for the quality of this."
Yeah.
And yet still less than 1% of all farmland in the United States is organic.
Yeah.
Wow.
Lobbyists. Sorry, excuse me.
Well, and
Okay.
here's the thing. It's a whole lot harder to produce something organic to meet those requirements.
Uh-huh.
So it's more expensive to produce, which means you have to sell it for more. And for most mass production farms, that's not necessarily feasible.
Yeah.
Because if they all start doing it at once, the supply is going to go up, the prices are going to drop, and there's not going to be any way for them to profit. If they can't profit, then they can't sustain themselves as an entity.
Right.
And it's a little bit harder to do organic than it is to be able to spray weed killer and
It
bug
is
killer.
significantly harder to do
Yeah.
organic.
And more time
So,
consuming.
yeah. Yeah.
God forbid it be better for us. But again, like, and I made the joke about lobbyists, but at the same time, you've got a bunch of people who are fighting for profit over what's actually better for us, what's actually
Quality.
good and that quality. And I think that, I mean, it would take a humongous undertaking. We saw it with Michelle Obama in her efforts as the first lady. Hey, we want kids to have whole foods,
Yeah.
eat real foods.
Trying to get people to garden again.
Yeah, and that
I
was
mean,
just too offensive to too many big dollar donors that, well, never mind. Okay, we won't talk about that. Let's just talk about getting kids to move. So if you're going to feed them all this ultra processed stuff, then at least we could try and teach them to work it off. And she's been very candid about that being the situation that she was in, but that was not the goal of her original
no, I
push.
don't think so either. I don't think so either. But okay, so now you're going to bring technology into it, and you see a shift again from we're busy, we're going, going, going. The kids have 3 different things to do, and you're stopping at McDonald's for, on the way to the soccer field, or you got delivery apps.
Yeah, but what really, really drove delivery apps to prominence?
I don't
Not being
know.
able to leave your house.
Oh, well, that's true. Yeah, COVID. Yeah,
You had the entire nation basically locked in their houses
Hold
for
up.
what,
Yeah.
18 months?
yeah, yeah.
Depending on where you were, at least. Yeah.
I
And
think they
so,
started and then got that boost from COVID.
sure, yeah, they were a thing before COVID. And it's not that they were like a failing thing or anything like that,
Yeah.
but some people were using delivery apps pre COVID.
Mhm.
During
This
COVID,
says
everyone was using them.
this says in the 2010s that DoorDash and competing apps will be used at least once a week by almost 30% of Americans and occasionally by another 44%. It's a huge amount of people who are ordering their food in.
Because it's convenient. They don't have to cook it. They don't have to go to the grocery store to buy it. They don't have to store it in their freezer.
And they can have what they want.
Yeah.
And you
When
can
they
have
want it.
this, and I can have that, and we can all have it delivered at the same time, and everybody's happy.
Yeah. Yeah. So now we're kind of up to today, and there's lots of things. There's AI getting in there. There's health maxing. There's GPL1s.
GLP
There's,
ones.
I'm sorry. Yeah. Say that again.
GLP ones.
GLP1s.
Yeah.
Even obesity and the drugs that we're, now seeing take over to combat that. We've done this whole, I mean, when you look at where it came from and some of the things that started us on that industrial part and the ultra processing part, and now then you are getting to here where all of a sudden can can AI build a better lettuce and make it with, it's cleaner and it doesn't cost as much, need as much water, and you don't have to have the sun, and you can do it all year round. What are what are the effects of this? And
I grow microgreens on my countertop.
I mean, but here's my question when you get to that. When you get to that point, why do we still have people who go hungry? I mean, it's cost and I think it's waste too. I think you see both of those. And so I'm anxious to
That's a
see this.
totally that's a series. That's not a last 5 minutes of the episode conversation.
Okay. Okay. I get it. I get
We
it.
could be here for weeks having that discussion and still not come close to an answer.
I,
Yes.
I think the one that we missed that probably will touch everybody is Coca-Cola in the 1880s, that it
Yeah.
was really created off of an alcohol ban. It was some with,
Well, originally
what
it was a
was it?
wine drink,
With some kind of nut in it.
cola nuts.
And then they prohibition and they banned alcohol in Atlanta. So he just pivoted and
They
removed
took the
all
wine
that,
out.
kept the caffeine, kept the cocaine for several years, marked it as a temperance drink. And now you have Coca-Cola and you're
Well, I
still
think the
drinking
thing
it
that really
today.
drove Coca-Cola was the woman who bought the recipe from him and her marketing plan, because her marketing plan was no one should be able to look anywhere without seeing our company's logo. That
Yes.
was the philosophy, and it worked.
Saturation
Yeah.
and consistency. Like, still to this
Putting it
day,
on calendars, mirrors, countertops, everything.
I mean,
Yeah.
but the saturation of just using even the Coca-Cola Red. They have entire roles that their job is to travel the country and say, this red is not quite red enough. This isn't the right red. This
Oh,
isn't the
wow.
right red either. Let's change this whole display, campaign, whatever it is, billboard, because this is not Coca-Cola Red. And so, I mean,
Wow.
it's incredible.
I didn't know that.
I also want to talk about, I think one of the bigger impacts is likely going to be the algorithm, because my algorithm, especially right now,
Mm.
is frisbees, fishing, and frying pans. That's it. I mean, if I'm not seeing some type of new fishing product, I'm watching somebody catch the fish, or I'm seeing somebody throw a frisbee. But the bulk of what I come across is food,
Mhm.
Yeah.
and it's
Mine
all
is
kinds of
probably
food.
heavily food, and I save a million of those, and I do go back and use them. I'm not just putting them in a, not
Mindlessly
all of
saving
them
them.
anyway,
I
in
mean,
a file. I
just in the
mean,
last year alone, how many Instagram or TikTok or Reels recipes have we tried and been like, this is pretty dang good?
Yeah,
yeah.
one of us will send it and they're like, "Okay, we're getting together. Let's make this. Let's go.
Yep.
What do
Now,
we need to do?"
Cole sends his late at night, and his are always totally different from anything that I've ever seen. And then Callie's like, "Oh, that looks good," and Cole will come and make it for you.
Because Cole and I are much more similar palate-wise.
Mm-hmm.
We're much more savory and a little bit less traditional, I think,
Yeah.
whereas you and dad are both like, "Oh, look at these cakes or cookies or this, whatever." I mean, like, yours all tend to be sweets more so than anything else.
Oh, I don't
I
think
think we just
so.
had so much more exposure
Oh, I think that that's true too. I think that that's true too. Mom,
Y'all
I
think you
would
have more exposure?
to different styles of food, unquestionably.
yes.
Hmm.
I watched a 29-minute video about mayonnaise and wanted to do a blind taste test.
This is true. Y'all
Yes.
did mayonnaise? And was it
Garlic,
salt?
salt,
Garlic.
spices,
I mean, y'all got
soy
really into
sauce.
that whole thing. Yeah. And Cole uses the torch all the time. I bought that torch, I don't know, 5, 6 years ago, never used it. Cole uses it almost every night because he's torching
Control.
something.
Just gives you another element of control.
And I know the other day I saw something, Dad and I were out, and I don't know if it was an Outback or what it was. And I thought, man, a good steak sounds really good. And I don't eat a lot of red meat anymore, but I thought, Cole makes the best steak. And so I literally texted you and said, you gonna come cook a steak for me
They were
tonight?
kind of mid that night, but
But if I'm gonna have a steak, I would much prefer Cole do it than somewhere else because I trust that it is going to be better.
Oh, yeah. Cole, your bad steaks are better than a lot of places'
Yeah.
best steaks. So, yeah, I'll take yours. I don't know.
I'll
I
take
just
that.
thought it was a really fascinating trip, the way to look at it from the mechanics and the changes from ice to industrialization.
Yeah, from salted or smoked or dried to icebox to now we have an electric refrigerator that
Yeah.
I probably need to clean mine out because I've got so much stuff in it that's been in there forever.
Oh my gosh, we have so many condiments in ours because y'all are condiment
Hoard.
lovers.
Yes, because condiments, they add so much versatility. Like, look,
Yes.
here's the thing. I could make the exact same thing on the skillet that I'm using every day and have a different meal every time just with condiments.
You
Oh,
came
yeah.
in with that mustard bacon.
Bacon jam.
Smoky maple bacon mustard, and it was
Oh
fire.
my gosh, it was so good and it smelled good. I mean, I felt like I was one of those old cartoons where they can smell it and all of a sudden they're just,
Carried by your nose.
yes, that's what I
Mhm.
felt like every time you used that. I didn't even care what you put it on.
No.
You could put it on
I was
anything.
eating it out of the jar.
That's true.
But
So,
I think that we also the buck doesn't stop here. We can't just say, "Okay, well, this is what it is." Because I think that the trajectory is still very much in progress. And so, I mean, we've talked about on this podcast before 3D printed food and meats and lab grown meats and things like this, vertical farming, all of these other things, personalized nutrition. This is what Callie needs versus what Cole needs. I mean, I'm reading articles about they're not diet pills, but they're nutrition pills that say, okay, Callie's low on this, this, and this. She doesn't need that, that, and that. So here's a pill
Supplements.
that does your, yeah, supplements. Here's a pill that does all of your nutritional value. You don't even need to eat, which I would be
I want to eat.
devastated. I want to eat.
I want to eat.
I definitely want to
Okay,
eat.
yeah. Calorie-free Cheetos sounds like a good idea now.
And I'm fine with doing multiple varieties of calorie-free Cheetos. I will put in a word to Chester.
Calorie-free jalapeno cheddar puffs. Please and thank you, Frito-Lay.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like, seriously, what will so you've got Gen Alpha right now. What will Gen, I don't know, 3
Oh no.
generations from now look like? What are they gonna be
Echo.
eating? Okay.
free dry,
What?
freeze dried, just add water.
I
I mean, we
mean,
already have that.
yeah, those are MREs.
Yeah.
I mean, but are robots gonna be making their food? I would like a
Robots are
beef
already making a
Wellington.
lot of their food.
I mean, also true.
Yeah.
But are they gonna be making it at home? Very Jetsons-esque? I
That'd
mean,
be kind of cool.
it would be cool. Will we still need grocery stores? Is everything just gonna be delivered to your house? Are we going in that circle again of time? And so what's
Drive.
next?
Yeah.
Where are we headed? I mean, Cole, I was going through some of our old episodes and you were talking about the elimination of scarcity. Like, what if scarcity isn't an issue anymore? What if there's food for everybody all the time?
Awesome.
What
So
if
it's like your lips to God's ears.
I mean, what if cooking became a hobby instead of a necessity? You didn't have to cook. Again, you had just pills, you just could because you wanted to.
Sounds like a pretty sweet gig to me.
Maybe so. I think it'll be interesting to see where it all goes.
I think so too.
Weird, though.
What's our weird thought this week, ladies?
Well, since we've talked about food, this one was funny to me. It's about two goldfish in Argentina, and their names are, I'll probably mispronounce, Fede and Magoo. And the court now recognizes these two goldfish as sentient beings, meaning that they are able to perceive and feel and that they respond to sensations. So the story didn't start out all that weird. In Buenos Aires, in a neighborhood sushi restaurant, these two goldfish were in a glass display case. And, the kind that kids could, go up and knock on the door to watch the fish dart and everything. But somebody realized that the tank they were in was exposed to sun and street noise, and it wasn't good for the fish. So restaurant didn't argue with them. Restaurant moved the tank out of the sun and away from all of the noise. Then it got weird. And a guy decided to file a complaint with the courts, arguing a violation of the law for animal abuse. The legal
So
case
you can't have an aquarium anymore?
oh wait. The legal case convinced the court to move the fish to an even more suitable place. Remember, they'd already been moved. The fish ended up getting adopted and moved from a 40 goldfish, y'all, goldfish, from a 40-liter display case to a 2,500-liter tank in the complainant's house. And the court ruled that the fish would remain under his care as the adopter. But that was only part of the issue. They've now been declared subjects of law or sentient beings. They are no longer objects, but they are beings with rights, goldfish. So, speaking
We're
of,
so
is it going to be
screwed.
illegal? Now you have to worry about your goldfish bowl. I mean, because think about this. When y'all were kids, our goldfish bowl didn't have air on them. They sat, on a table somewhere. Half the time a cat would get into them.
That was
I mean,
once.
now you have to worry about your goldfish bowl, and it
Their
kind of
feelings.
their feelings kind of depends on the situation. If you keep them in conditions of mistreatment or cruelty, then you could be at risk against the law. And whatever you do, don't let your drunk friend decide that he's going to swallow them whole, because
Minnow
now
shots.
they have
Because
the
that's
legal
murder.
protection of the law.
So is
So
everyone a vegetarian in Argentina now too? Is it
Well,
court
it sounds to me
mandated?
like it's only these 2 goldfish, like, it's not all goldfish, it's only these 2?
no,
Right,
it's
but if those
really
2 goldfish are sentient being, how are they different from another goldfish?
Agreed, which is why.
exactly. But there were others. There were some orangutans. There were some other animals that, this all kind of preceded, but it's goldfish. I
This sounds like the
mean,
stupidest thing I've heard in several
we
weeks.
used to spend 25 cents. If you'll remember, when we moved into this house, we built a fish pond. We bought 25-cent goldfish to put in that fish pond. Now, sometimes the birds came and grabbed.
Or raccoons or a
It's a,
bass that got thrown in there by someone.
but we would
What?
be,
You don't remember that?
No.
yeah, I do.
Yeah.
Was it, who put that in there?
It was an uncle.
But if we were in Argentina, we could get in trouble for that.
So what happens when the fish dies? Do you have to give it, like, a proper burial, or can you still flush it down the toilet?
I wouldn't think that you could flush it down the toilet. They have feelings.
But they're
You have
dead. You
I
don't
mean,
have
but
any
that's
feelings once you're dead.
right,
You're
but that's
dead.
the mishandling of sentient being remains.
exactly.
How are you supposed to fulfill their wishes? How do you know what their wishes
I was
are?
gonna say,
Because
how do you
they're
know?
goldfish.
Don't know. You learn to read
Well, this
bubbles, I
blub
guess.
means this and that blub means that.
It sounds like a 501(c)(3) opportunity to me. Make a goldfish wish. Like, we could serve them.
Yeah.
Except
I
that
don't know
you
if this
can't.
is
I'm
I don't know if this is charity or not, but this is the law in Argentina.
Remind
Okay.
me not to go there.
Golly, that's weird.
Okay. You got a not weird good story?
Yep, I do. So we're gonna go from goldfish to whales, but not whales like in the
Different
ocean.
whales. The
Whales like
geographic whales.
yes, geographic whales. So Wales has just become the first country in the world to pass legislation that requires politicians who knowingly make false or misleading statements of fact during election campaigns can now face criminal penalties once these new rules are implemented. It's not talking about broken promises or opinions. It's specifically aimed at deliberate deception. The law also creates a recall system, meaning that voters can remove elected officials if they have been sentenced to prison or found guilty of serious misconduct in these facets. And supporters of all of this say that it's
Don't
a
they have to
long
vacate their seats anyways? If you've been convicted of a crime,
Not if you're here, not if you're in America, but
it,
maybe
it
in Wales.
depends. It depends on the severity of the crime that you commit.
It also depends on if you are impeachable or censured or anything like that.
Yes.
So is this a new law?
Yes, it's just in the process of going into effect now,
I'm so curious how it's gonna work out.
right?
Yeah.
I mean, we got to be careful. We just have the seventh prime minister in Britain in the
Yeah.
last decade, so we've
5
got some work
years.
to do.
Yeah.
10,
10,
7
I
and 10
think.
years.
Yeah.
I don't know. Okay.
7 and 10, I'm sure. But it's, I mean, I think that it's really, really interesting and a good opportunity to start rebuilding trust in government. I think that it could be a slippery slope to try and decide who gets to determine what is and isn't a lie. How does that all get handled? So I think that they've got a bit of an uphill battle to
I mean, really,
traverse.
you think about that. I mean, you look at the 2020 election, January the 6th. I mean, look at those things that we still can't agree on today. How would that be? How would that go through the court? That's just fascinating an idea.
We also elected a 34 count indicted felon to the White House, but we've got some work to do.
I mean, do you really think that would build trust? If you can get a politician who blatantly lies out, does that build trust?
So I said this to you the other day, Mom. Cole has asked us on several occasions, if you were president for the day, what law would you enact? And I said to you, I would enact the law to be that you can't lie or defame your opponents in political campaigning.
Yeah.
And here it is being put into practice. And I think it will be really interesting to see. I would love for it to be productive, not from one side of the aisle or the other, but to the point of holding politicians accountable for being honest.
I want to see how this works.
Me
We have
too.
to revisit this one.
Yeah, me too.
This could be interesting.
It
Okay.
shall be.
Well, let's go have some cheese puffs.
Just regular, original.
Original.
You guys can have the puffs.
Okay. I don't want any of 'em. I
I'll
don't
eat
like
yours.
the
Love you
yellow
guys.
stuff on my fingers.
Oh, that's the best part. What are you
Yeah.
talking about?
And it's orange. Easy now.
I mean, maybe once a year I get a craving for something like that.
I have to not buy them because I will eat the entire bag.
The whole thing. One sitting without any
First
guilt.
day, one sitting.
Yep.
I
Oh,
will
no,
say
there's lots of guilt,
Oh, I don't have any
normally,
but
guilt.
I'm still going to do it.
normally when I want one of those, it's when Dad and I are on a trip. and he's packed, and I want something savory like that, salty like that to just munch on.
Yes,
I think
please.
if I could have, like, jalapeno cheddar Cheetos Puffs and, like, teriyaki beef jerky, and if those
Oh,
were
yeah.
to suit my nutritional needs,
It'd be your
I
whole
would probably
diet.
be set for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
You would not. You like variety too much.
But see, here's the thing. Cole's gonna be putting those, sprinkling, like, crunching them
On
up on
everything.
everything,
Yeah,
on
that's
his
true.
steaks, on his eggs, with
Yeah.
some Kewpie mayo.
I
Oh,
did
yeah.
that one time. I
I
crushed
believe
up a
it.
bunch of jalapeno cheddar cheese and, like, breaded a steak in it and pan fried it, and it was pretty
Oh,
dang
I bet
good.
that was good.
I bet it was.
I bet that was good. Okay, now we gotta go eat. Love y'all.
Love you guys.
Love you.